And welcome to another episode of Funny Talk with Mongeli and Max. We have a special guest this week, actor, comedian, nice guy, Jeffrey Paul.
Hey, fellas.
Nice guy. Wait, I don't know him. Are you a nice guy? We're gonna start the hard-hitting questions. Are you nice?
Let's revisit that question in about 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I'll let you
on a 1 to 10 scale. So already I'm feeling like he's like a 6.5 to 7. He's done some things we don't need to know. We don't need to know.
You don't need to know. Yeah.
Where were we? And it's
I'm not divulging.
Yeah.
And this is our other guest, Joey Bag of Donuts, my freaking cat who won't get off me.
So, listeners, for those of you who don't know Jeffrey Paul, he starred in Martin Scorsese's.
Scorsese.
You who? What? Don't get a Jew to say.
He's a little known.
It sounds like a food. In The Irishman.
Yes.
The movie The Irishman.
Highly acclaimed
he
movie.
is also a co-host of Who's Your Band? And on with Dustin Chafin's Dustin Vinyl.
That's right.
Did I get close to your credits there?
Pretty close.
You can make up others. You can make up better ones.
Yeah.
People don't vet what we do.
I got 2 movies coming out this summer.
Tell us.
Really?
Yeah, I got one movie coming out called The Saint of the Impossible. And I have another one called Midlife coming out.
Okay.
What was the first name of the Impossible? What?
Saint. The
Saint of the Impossible. Nice. And what is this about?
Saint of the Impossible is kind of like a very international thriller. It's about these 2 South American brothers that kind of get involved with this mysterious woman, and then a murder occurs, and they're not really too aware of what's going on. But little do they know they're going to get framed for this whole thing. And
how does it end?
Do that. Okay. Sounds interesting.
But it's directed by it's the first full feature by a filmmaker by the name of Mark Raymond Wilkes, and he had been nominated for an Academy Award for short. He's I think he's Swiss, and so the movie was filmed in Europe. It was filmed in South America and here in the States. So when I filmed actually outside of Madison Square Garden, and and the hotel across the way from there.
Are you allowed to divulge what you were? What you
yeah,
were?
yeah. It was a real stretch for me. I was an angry guy.
Settle down.
Yes, yeah. I was an angry guy. I don't have a lot of. Wow.
What was the angriest? What was the angriest you ever got in? Since you brought it up, angriest you ever got in public that you can talk about on radio and document that you're not ashamed of? And
okay,
I guess think of somebody. I'm thinking there was somebody stupid around you. Yeah.
No. I've done a lot in my life. And one of the things I used to do, I used to tour with bands. I used to work production in bands. Anyway, when there was like nothing going on, you would work a lot of local shows. And one of the local shows I was working was Wu-Tang Clan Rage Against the Machine. And that show was over in, I guess it's now called the Continental Airlines Arena in New Jersey. And I remember I was supposed to have like a really cushy gig on that one. I was going to work backstage. I was going to work the VIP. My friend, who is now Springsteen's tour manager, he had just had a baby, and he was kind of a little fried, and he was like, he was working the center of the pit. And I said, I'll switch with you. And so I'm working the center of the pit, and there was crowd surfing going on and stuff, and they were fine with it. We just asked people not to like kick or anything, and because we didn't want anyone in the crowd getting hurt, and we didn't want our guys in the pit getting hurt. And there was one guy, there's always fucking one, okay, who this guy, he has to kick his legs, and people were getting pissed off, and he's kicking his legs. And like thing, we would get them, and then they would just like walk off the slide and they would do it again. There were people who were doing this multiple times. There were plenty of people who did it and they were fine. They were cool. Okay. There's one jerk off, okay, has to just like keep kicking. And he kicks me in the nose. I don't know if you've ever been hit in the nose or not, but you have two reactions. You either fight or you flee. And I saw fucking red, and I grabbed this guy and I started beating the shit out of this guy. Wait,
that was you?
Yeah, yes, Tom, are you okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to stop crowd surfing, all you need to do is send Tom out into the audience and it'll stop.
But that was a wild show.
Wow.
At one point in the show, Method Man jumps into the crowd. Okay, and he's the performer, right? But he has like his cell phone on his belt, and this guy tries to take it. One of their security guys jumps into the crowd, knocks the guy the fuck out, and gets the cell phone. It's like you don't do that. It was just one of the things you just know you don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, people, people, they never respect my security because he's like a 5'2", serious-looking Italian guy, but he's 5'2",
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people they don't care. You've seen that, Tom, right?
Oh,
people, yeah, they don't respect my security. I need to step up my security game. Definitely. Okay, let's be funny. Tom, you need to do something.
Oh yeah, before we do that, I want to bring up, we want to thank our sponsor for the show, Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. He puts on great comedy shows for fundraisers and restaurant showcases and private parties. And all you have to do is contact Jack at jirwinproductions.com, and he'll put together a great show that everybody will be talking about weeks after. So what else you have to add, Doug?
I did a joke once that somebody remembered a couple weeks after. I was very proud of that. That was like 7 years ago, Tom.
Okay.
I doubt he remembers it. It's my date with the dog. Remember that story?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. So yeah,
right.
Jack Hoffman, great guy, puts on great comedy shows. Right to Jack at jirwinproductions.com. And now back to whatever we were doing.
Back to Jack. You started telling us about that second movie you're in.
Oh yeah, so the second movie was, like I said, that was Saint and the Impossible, and then another one. I did it for a friend of mine. It's called Midlife, and it's about a guy. It's basically his real life story. He's going through a midlife crisis, and he goes from the corporate world to the world of entertainment. And I play his agent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, both these movies you're going to be in, they're going to be broadcast in regular movie theaters. Well,
that's the whole thing. Last year, Saint and the Impossible was supposed to be released in theaters. And, we saw what happened last year. And I thought they were going to release it through streaming, which I thought would have made sense last year, because I thought that worked really well for a movie like The King of Staten Island. It wound up doing bigger numbers than it actually should have, because there was no new content. There was nothing. Remember, there's no baseball, there's no basketball, there's nothing going on. Nothing new was being released. And then they released this movie, and it was the only thing that was really new. That so everyone kind of like, okay, I want to see something new. So people bought it. I bought it. And I think if it was in the movie, I don't think it would have done as well. But Saint of the Impossible, I know it's on the festival circuit now. I was invited back a couple of months ago in March to go down to Miami for one of the festivals down there. And I had commitments up here. I didn't go to. Listen, I didn't even go to the premiere of The Irishman. I was with Bob Levy that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you mentioned today that you got a nice fat check. So have you bought yourself from the Irishman? So did you buy yourself? Have you done any retail therapy?
Oh, listen, that check right now is being spent as we're speaking. We're redoing the house, so my wife has a contractor outside. As we're doing this is what she's doing.
All right. Well,
you should have, if you'd known me before. I was a home improvement contractor for 10 years.
I wish I would have known.
More of a handyman. I'm very handy. So
oh really?
When they F up little things, I don't know where you live. I might not even.
I live out in Staten Island.
What did I say? I'm an entomologist. I'm sorry. No, Staten Island isn't that bad, but Long Island is horrible to get to.
It's
no, seriously. I know a lot of. I know how to do a lot of stuff. I don't know how handy you are.
You know what? I used to be more handy than I am now. I just don't have the time, and I don't have I just don't want to anymore. Yeah. But years ago, I had got my first house. I used to do the crown molding, and I used to do sheetrocking and taping and stuff like that. And then I hated taping. Yeah,
I hate it because if you don't do it a lot, it's hard getting. Then you're sanding. You're covered in dust the next day.
Right. And then I had a house up in Pennsylvania that was my wife and family, they called it a house. I called it a concentration camp. And because all it was work. I mean, it was work. And, thank goodness, like things started to break a little bit for comedy.
Haven't you heard about Marjorie Taylor Greene?
The Congresswoman?
Yeah.
What about it?
She made these comments relating mask wearing to the concentration camp.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that analogy.
I didn't either.
Anyway, before the show, I said to Tom, listen, let's try to be funny this show and not talk about death and the Holocaust. Because that's what I bring up. I bring that up.
Is that what you guys? This is some hell of a show. Like the Holocaust always comes up on this show. Like we can't how do you not talk about the Holocaust? Hey, did you watch the Nets last night? Yeah, it's kind of like Hitler exterminating the Jews.
But did you hear?
What kind of show
anyway,
is this?
You don't know. I've got a history because my dad was a Nazi slave laborer. He was captured as an American soldier in World War II, made a slave laborer, and then escaped. And so I became a comedian after my divorce. That's what happened. That's what happens when that happened 70 years ago. Fast forward.
So your father was in a concentration camp?
No. He was a slave laborer. He did not have a camp. He once almost he said something like, it would have been better. I would have had a house. Although the ending isn't so good, he said.
Right.
He was sleeping along the roads in repairing railroad tracks in a German winter. That's what he was doing. Yeah, tough. Anyway, so I guess working on the house was really tough, is what I'm saying.
I didn't like doing it. After a while you kind of get burnt out, and like now it's like your weekends are filled with traveling and doing comedy. And now that things are back, I mean, I've been doing multiple spots a night again, and things are coming back now. So, but prior to the pandemic,
didn't you just do Janks and Point Pleasant?
I'm going to do Janks and Point Pleasant in August.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw the flyer for it. I didn't notice the date.
Yeah, I'm with a couple of buddies. I'm there, Rich Carucci and Jesse May Pluso.
Yeah, no, that should be good. Yeah, I'm only a half an hour from Point Pleasant. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I've never done that room before.
Where is it? I don't know that I know where it is. Is it on the board?
I don't think I've ever been there.
I got the impression it's new. It's a new place.
I know it's in New Jersey. I know it's on the Jersey Shore, and when we get to August, I'll look it up on my Waze. But I got right now I got like so many other things like going on that even thinking about that yet.
Yeah. This has been the Where Is That portion of Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. And for our next
we need to put quotations around funny talk.
Yeah, funny quote unquote.
We use a funny font, and we hope that subtly signals, that we're not funny? Serious about being funny.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So thank you for talking about that, because Tom and I were talking about this before the show, where I said we should try to be funny tonight. So okay, let's try to be funny.
You guys are funny guys.
Yeah,
we can be. Hey, Hey,
So is that a guitar in the background I see?
Yeah, the shows I do, like Dustin Vinyl and Who's Your Band, really focus around music. And they're two, they're this music theme shows, but they're both very different. Like Who's Your Band is more guest driven. Me and I don't know if you know comedian Sean Morton.
of course.
Okay, him and I do the show where we'll interview musicians, we'll interview actors, politicians, athletes, comedians, and we talk a little bit about them, and then we bring it around to like who their band is, and like why they like that band. Like we did an episode where we had Carol Montgomery and Rich Voss on, and they were both huge Springsteen fans, and it was shocking to know like how much they knew and how much they loved Springsteen. We had on like both Sean and I think that Billy Sheehan is the greatest bass player who ever lived, and we had him on the show, which was kind of like that was pretty exciting for us. We had Bruce Kulick from Kiss on. We've had state assemblymen, and we've had club owners, so we've had like an eclectic group on, and again, and everyone has like a band that they're passionate about, music that they love, and that's what we delve into. And then Dustin's Vinyl is we do deep dives. The show has evolved into doing one older album, which I usually handle, and one newer album, which our producer handles. So the episode I was just taping right before we go live. Part of it is live, and then it gets edited for distribution afterwards. We just did Madonna's debut album, because this whole month we did debut albums.
Everybody's done Madonna.
And then we did the latest Rival
I'm
Sons
sorry,
album.
Madonna. I think you're very talented.
I love
So
listening.
now you're counting Madonna as an old record? An old,
Well, since her debut album came out in 1983, yeah. I'm gonna put
Okay, you know what? This is not a show about music.
Well, you asked about the guitar.
We talk about Jeffrey. We can talk about you, but then we have to. It's funny. That's it. No more Holocaust. No more music. It's Jeffrey Paul and funny. Okay,
Now,
go.
Jeffrey, the last time that I performed with you, I ended up getting COVID the next day.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Thanks. No, I'm already vaccinated, man. I was vaccinated. It's fun. Yeah, that's crazy though. That happened to you.
I've been absolutely astounded at, I've always known how. I studied psychology, so I know there's a normal distribution of intelligence, and I see it all the time on New Jersey roads, and to be reminded of it with people not knowing how to wear a mask, with the over the mouth but not over the nose, and I want to early on in the vaccine, in the pandemic, I wanted to like go into a supermarket with the mace, the steel ball on a chain 6 feet long to give me a perimeter. People, what's wrong with people?
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe you could analyze this. Tom, do you remember that show that we did?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you remember this this encounter. I'm up there and it was a brutal show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really was. And
were you the headliner that night?
No, Rich Carucci was headliner. Okay. But I was happy just that, listen, this was.
No, I was just wondering what you were left with as you're telling the story. So go on. Sorry.
Right. So listen, they were still okay. But it's like a Saturday. No one's wearing a button-down shirt. It really was like a bunch of shit kickers when you think about it, right? And I'm midway through the set, and I look out, and I'm like, wow. I go, I'm impressed by all the diversity in this room. I feel like I'm looking at a Osmond family reunion, right? And I could see they get a little bit tight over that. They didn't like that. So then I go, Jersey's kind of like a weird state. It's a tough state to kind of figure out. I go, are you guys a Trump crowd? You a Biden crowd? And then do you remember that guy gets up and starts walking towards us? It's like, fuck Biden, fuck him. And he goes the N-word before him. And he says it, remember?
Was he the guy that Rich ended up getting thrown out?
That was the guy who got thrown out.
You told me that story, Tom. I remember that.
I was sitting next to that guy in the restaurant before the show started. I think he's like mentally retarded.
I think he was drunk. He was drunk, and he was
drunk. But I think he had issues.
He was like an asshole. I mean, who reacts like that? And then I mean, and he says that, and that's when I was like, whoa! Like, when did the show go from a comedy show to a Klan rally? You know, it was.
That's a good line.
Yeah, but it was true. It's like this guy went from 0 to 60 because he heard the name. He's heard Biden. All I asked was, is this a Trump crowd? Is this a Trump state or is this a Biden state? You guys are hard to figure out. And this guy, like you were like, I thought like I just like fucked his mother or something.
You reminded me of one of my favorite stories. Tom was there. We were in a very small hair salon, and the MC was bringing me up.
This was a while ago, right?
Yeah. I'm standing 3 feet to the right of him, and he says, "I'm really pleased to see the diversity in the room." And there was diversity. He says, I'm pleased to see blacks and whites and men and women and Christians and Jews. And a woman in the front row stood up, pointed at me and said, and yelled out, "There's one," or "That's one." I forget what she said.
Oh, shit.
And I doubled over, dying. Everybody in the room doubled over. Next words, "Please welcome Doug Max." And I'm like, where are the exits? And if anybody sees any Nazis, give me a signal.
Yeah, with Eva Braun's granddaughter.
I was on a show, and one of my friends was up on stage performing, and I don't know if Tom, do you know Alan Fuchs?
I do.
Okay. So Alan's up on stage performing, and Alan, his family is of Russian descent, but like if you looked at this guy, he looks Irish. If anything, he don't look even remotely Russian. And so he does a bit about it. He's talking about if you had to guess, and he's in the middle of the bit, and all of a sudden this guy starts walking down the aisle, coming toward the stage. He's like, I'm an American. Get the fuck out of my country.
Oh my God.
And like you just like when it's happening, you can't believe that like there's someone who's like this isn't an act.
That's not in Manhattan, was it? I know. No, that's where I've seen Alan. Yeah.
No, this was in New Jersey.
South. Yeah. Right? Was it south of the Mason-Dixon line? I hope it was south, but maybe not.
No, it was kind of like where's like near Elizabeth. What would that be?
Not the south.
That's like northern Jersey. Wow. Well, where were we that time, Tom? Under that town, what part of New Jersey is that?
Oh, that was Paramus.
So where that considered North Jersey?
Yeah,
North Jersey, okay. Bergen County, North Jersey.
Okay, so Jersey's a weird state.
Yeah, it is. Now I live in Bayville right now. I just moved from Lakehurst. But a lot of my shows have been south of, like, say, Tom's River. So, like the Delaware Valley, right out
geography again.
Cherry Hill. And the sensibility is a lot different down in South Jersey than it is up in North Jersey, where you're used to.
Yeah, I've played, down the Jersey Shore. I've done Cape May. I did a vineyard. It was a great show on a vineyard on Cape May. I've done Atlantic City a bunch of times, and then I've done as far north. So as possible. I've done Alpine, New Jersey. I guess Paramus. Is that what is Paramus? Where Levity Live is.
Oh, Levity Live? No,
that's not even Jersey.
That's not even Jersey.
That's not even Jersey anymore.
Yeah.
Mom, didn't you get a TV in Alpine?
Oh no, Doug, drop that whole thing.
Wait, Doug, is this an interesting story?
No, not at all.
Okay.
He was bargain hunting. He bought a TV.
I finally brought. Let me tell you.
You're bargain hunting for a TV? How poor are you?
I had one of those old clunky TVs. I didn't have a flat screen, an HD TV, high def. So I finally got a high def television, HD TV. But I got it on sale. It was actually an ADHD TV. attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's a joke, but if you have to explain
The
it,
joke is that it gets a great picture, but it never stays on the same station.
that's the punchline.
But
Anyway,
Tom,
I didn't want to bring it up.
do I have
dog.
to do your whole act for you?
Dog.
How
It
are
has
people
nothing to
going to
do
know
with
we're
outline.
funny? How are
Tom.
people going to know we're funny if you forget your act and I have to give you the pitch?
Tom,
You
do you
know,
live in
You forget what our
Mahwah?
show is for? Where geography, Alpine. Where is that place? Is that up near Paramus? Where's
Doug,
Jesus.
I've done that joke in context. It's funny, and I've done it in context 110 times. Only once did I do it in Alpine. I never used Alpine on my act except that one time you heard it.
Okay, I know where you use Alpine for.
I don't use it anymore.
Okay, well you should. It's funny.
Hey Tom, when you're on stage, why do you wear a hat, man? You got a great head of hair.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm going to a show after working a whole day, I work with a stupid ball cap on, so it's just like all smushed down.
First of all, you can't run your hands through some water and fluff it up a little bit and get the lines out.
Wash it,
And
get
second of all, if you moisturized, you wouldn't need to wear a hat. Okay? People wouldn't, your skin wouldn't wash out from the
I
spotlight.
only wear a hat because I have to at work.
What do you do that you're wearing a hat? Are you a baseball player?
A human hat rack. No, I manage a self-storage facility.
And you can't find time between what you're doing to moisturize it's a pump and it's over.
Moisturize.
No,
I don't. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a great head of hair.
Yeah. Got the same. Well, never mind. I'm Italian, so.
Yeah, if you ever need to lube an axle, you bring it to his head.
So.
Okay, Tom. Let's be funny, buddy.
No.
You're always funny. When we talk one-on-one, you're funny. We do a show, not so much.
What do you guys got going on? I mean, are you guys back to
my
work?
God.
You guys doing shows?
You know what? You know what we have going on? Tom will have his list of things going on, and then I cry while he's going through it. That's what's going on. You got an invitation, Tom. What do you got coming up?
Things are starting to pick up. I'm getting a lot of private shows, though. I got a call today from somebody who saw me at another show right after the pandemic, the first show back that I did. And she liked my act. She works at a rehab, senior place, assisted living place.
Have you written your drooling joke yet?
No, she hired me today to do a show there, and it's tough to find a clean comic that's actually funny. So that's how I get a lot of shows. Is
if you need one, Chris Monty is great.
Yeah, Chris Monty, right?
You don't think I'm clean and funny?
So anyway, Chris Monty's pretty good.
Yeah, I was actually I hadn't seen Chris in like really almost years. The only time I had him on, I had him on the show, and then I did a show with him out of Long Island last week, and then I ran into him last night doing a spot. Okay,
I opened for him at the Candlelight Theater. Oh, yeah? Jason Pollock runs it down. What is that, Delaware?
Oh wow, Jason Pollock, man! I haven't heard that guy's name in years. He used to do the Comedy Cove.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yep.
Okay, Tom, you want to run through your list of gigs coming up?
Sure. So I have to take my glasses off. Thursday, June 10th, I'll be doing the Patterson Rotary Club at the Brownstone in Patterson. Saturday, June 26th, the Acme Screening Room in Lambertville, New Jersey. Saturday, July 10th, a private party in Point Pleasant. Saturday, July 17th, the Polish American Club in White House Station. June 24th, I'm doing Grill 360 at the Wilshire Grand Hotel in West Orange. And now I'm doing this assisted living place. I'm getting all the info on it tomorrow. And I got one other one in the works that I don't have verification on yet. So they're starting to get it come in.
Okay, ask me what I got going on, Tom.
Doug, I know what you have going on.
I'm going to make a very nice breakfast for myself tomorrow.
Doug had a great weekend. He put on a big deck on his
He
house.
built a deck?
A
Oh,
patio.
yeah. A deck.
I redid a patio.
Oh,
Two
awesome.
comedian friends.
Okay.
And I'd highly recommend maybe not doing that, but good way to save money. People are desperate. And I can see, I can feel the desperation in the comedies, in the comedian's stand-up. So I feel that. I make them a lowball offer, fix a patio, mow the lawn. Frank, how are you up on roofs? What does it pay? Well, it's $5 for 20 minutes. Actually, that's not, that's probably about right.
So anyway,
Oh,
this week happens to be Doug's birthday.
Hey,
It's not
happy birthday,
I don't
Doug.
have a birthday week. My birthday is on a day. My birthday was Memorial Day when I was born.
Yeah.
And then the assholes changed it to the last Monday, or what is it? Yeah, to the last Monday in May.
Last Monday of the month.
Yeah. So now my birthday is not always Memorial Day.
What's the official or the unofficial start of summer?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's right. That's when Sandy Hook starts charging money.
When you would have a summer rental, it would usually go from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah.
Right.
We used to go down to Avon by the sea.
Yeah. I used to
That's
go down to
what
Belmar when I was a kid.
And transistor radios. I'm older than you guys, so I remember Cousin Brucey.
Oh, I remember. He's still kicking, he's still doing work.
He does, on 60s on 6 on Saturday night.
We should
You
do
know
a
that
show.
because we traveled and that's what you listen to.
We should do a show about people we assume are dead, but they're really not.
Like us. We just come off of being dead.
Like, Keith Richards. I'm going to write him a real nice note. See if we can get him on, because I think he's.
Good luck with that.
He's gonna keep going.
He's been forecasted for a long time.
Yeah.
He must have stopped abusing his body, I would think, with the things that I assume he abused his body with.
I used
you
to
don't live
work
to
with the
be
Rolling
70
Stones.
something.
Really?
I used to. Yeah. I for 19 years before comedy, Tom. For 19 years, I used to go on the road and work with bands, and I did 4 tours with the Stones. I did a couple with Springsteen, and then I would fill it in with a lot of like local or short work.
Nice. So anything funny happened from these tours? We already covered the Angry.
Well, I heard they're changing the name to the Kidney Stones. No?
And for our Ethiopian listeners, that was American wordplay.
Just let the uncomfortability grow with that.
Yeah.
If you stand in front of an audience long enough and don't say anything, eventually they laugh.
That's true.
You work so hard writing all this stuff, and they're like, and you don't say a word. And with the right mannerisms and delivery of nothing, you can get something.
Years ago, I used to host a show at New York Comedy Club, and there was this comedian. I think the guy's name was Will Philly. I don't even know if he's still doing comedy. And he would do that for as long as that's good stuff. He would do that for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, like as long as he can go without the audience getting angry and without him breaking. And he would just sit, just stare at the audience. Sometimes he would raise an eyebrow. Sometimes he'd fix his nose, but like he didn't say anything for the longest time, and people would laugh. That's true.
I've been introduced. I've been brought up. I don't know how many times now. It's probably more than 20 as New Jersey's only mute comedian. And I get up and but I still adjust the microphone stand. Sometimes I wipe it, and that gets a laugh. But then my first words are, I told them to tell you I was OCD, not mute. And for some reason, that's funny.
Did you do a lot of Zoom shows?
I've done some. And they vary. Some of them I don't think people think about how they do them. But the best Zoom shows that I've done are where all the comedians are visible at the same time. So you're not going to see your audience of however many people there are, but you get some feedback,
Yeah, I couldn't give a shit about seeing the comics. I mean, some shows I we do because I hadn't seen anybody for the longest time. But I mean,
I understand, but yeah.
But I did like a bunch of like corporate Zoom shows because I think that's what corporations were doing. People were still working; they were working from home. They couldn't go out, so they would do like 5 o'clock. Instead of a happy hour, they would do a happy hour comedy show.
Nice.
And or they would do that like as a Friday night thing for them. And this was like in the height of the pandemic. I remember this being like last I'm gonna say May, June. I just remember like right around there, and doing all this stuff. And that's when it was starting the summertime, where now on the weekends, remember there was a bunch of outdoor shows. Did you guys those outdoor parking lot shows? Where the sound would be broadcasted in through the radio. Those were kind of weird to do. They were, but the thing is, I think you would write jokes and you would have no place to work them out. So
go in your garage, talk to your car, present to your car. Because a lot of the shows were the drive-in. I've seen drive-in comedies too.
Yeah. Well, one of the weirdest ones I did was there was a place that for $40 a carload, they had a band, 2 comedians, and then they would show a movie, and they would pack it out. I mean, there had to be about 150 cars at this thing, and
wow.
So I was the headlining comedian for the show, and I was on right before the movie, and the movie was Led Zeppelin's Song Remains the Same. And it's like you're performing in front of cars, really. So I told this story of what something happened to me when I went to go see that movie. Do you want to hear the story, Tom?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't have to tell the story.
No,
if you want to hear it, I'll tell. But I don't have to tell it.
Do we want to hear the story? Are there bodily fluids involved?
It could be.
Yeah, that was the story.
All right, so here's the story. I was a freshman in high school, and I was dating this girl in Brooklyn. So every weekend I would go to stay over my cousin's house in Canarsie, and we would go. I would hang out with this girl for the weekend. So like one night, remember like they would have like midnight movies. Remember, you get high and you go like see like a movie. Like I remember, I had to like this girl because I went with her to go see like a Grateful Dead movie. She wanted to go see and I fucking hated the Dead. Okay, but I would do it. You get high, right? So you hang out with the girl in the movie. So we go see. She was like totally totally into rock, music. So we go see the Led Zeppelin movie, and we're there, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, like Song Remains the Same, but there was like a bunch of like fantasy scenes. So here's this fantasy scene where Robert Plant is riding on a horse and he's going towards a castle. And then like the next scene is the girl in the castle bedroom waiting for him. And then Robert's on the horse and he's getting closer. And then the girl takes off part of her lingerie, and and then Robert like busts open the door, and then the girl like falls on the bed, and then Robert opens the door of the room, and just at that moment this guy in the theater yells out, "Fuck her brains out, Robert!" and everyone erupts, they're laughing, right? So now this is like 14-year-old Jeff is like, I got to keep up with this guy, okay? Because I'm going to be an inspiring comedian sometime. So I'm going to yell something out. So I yell out, "Yeah, make her have cumsies." And nothing, dead silence. And the girl turns to me and goes, "Shut up, Jeff."
And did you have another date with her?
Yes, I did. She didn't appreciate my humor, but
My current girlfriend doesn't appreciate my humor, and
yes, but
all
I
my
bombed
comedian
that
friends
movie.
say, Doug, that's the problem. I'm like, why? She's a perfect reflection of every audience I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's a great place to practice,
Yeah.
No,
Well, not for me.
Believe it or not, I try out my new material with my customers at the storage facility.
Of course you do.
They all know I'm a comic, so when they come in, they expect, like, okay, what's the new
See,
joke?
Tom, then the problem with that is then your writing is limited to when you have human contact. If you do it like me, all in your head, you just feel the funny. You forget what the audience's reaction is. This is about us. This is about what makes us happy. Our funny place. If the people don't want to travel and meet you there, that's up to them. They paid, they came in, they got what they got. Wrong attitude. I know. I have a bad comedy attitude.
Yeah.
No.
It came out of me. I'm sorry.
And I have to give props to my Uncle Sal. Uncle Sal's like 82 years old. He's an easy.
Hold on a second.
What?
Are you wearing the storage shirt now?
Yes. Yes. Just in case I get called in on an emergency.
Yeah, they're gonna be emergency storage. Like you couldn't even change the shirt.
No. If he gets called in an emergency, he needs to run. He takes off the shirt. That shirt holds like 1,000 pounds. Look, like 1,000 pounds.
How much is a 5x11 storage space?
Well, 5x10. Actually, you know what? I don't care what facility you're at. There are no available units anywhere right now. It's incredible. I've never seen it like this. Hasn't been like this since Sandy.
So what's the rate?
I don't know. The rates just went up because of supply and demand. But a 5x10, I really don't know. We haven't had one available in like several months.
Because my son goes to college at the University of Hartford, and we tried to get him like the one he had last year, and the price was jacked up. So we wound up going to a different storage unit, different place. When I'm saying not even 5 minutes further out, we wound up getting a 5x, I guess it's 5x10, for like $69 a month.
That's a good price.
Yeah.
We're selling 5x5. We're selling 5x5s for like 79.
5x5s we're going for 125 in Connecticut. Yeah.
Yep.
This is the first time I've ever been on a show where I've talked about storage units.
Welcome to
I was going to say, and let me bring up, I've prepared for the storage unit segment. Let me compare prices across the country for those of you. So if you live in Boise, Idaho.
This would be great if you really had those prices.
Yeah.
I'm not that good.
If you were that prepared, Doug, and like while we were talking, you were looking up and you got these prices of storage units in Boise, Idaho.
What a show. I was on, and they're like,
that would have been the most helpful part of this whole show.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but nobody listens this far. They don't, you think of so many food items, right? You need to work and it needs to blend together until it all comes together and you taste that delicious. Our show is like that. You need to get the juices flowing.
Hey, you guys big fans of Governor Murphy?
Oh, not me.
I love Governor Murphy. Why?
That's interesting.
Because he called my father up on to congratulate him on his third bar mitzvah when he was like 96, 94. Yeah.
Yeah, his father got bar mitzvah at 95 years old.
Fuck, attention.
Well, he's also a Nazi prisoner or something.
Yeah. Slave labor.
Yeah, slave labor.
Yeah,
so
if I went through that. Oh, sorry. If I went through that, I would not. I'd hide. I'd hide from those people the rest of my life. I'd be. You know what I'd do? I'd run a storage, self storage facility.
right?
And then at night, I'd find a
be
nice
comedian in
5x5.
South Jersey.
I'd find a nice 5x5 for like $79.95, unless it's in Boise, where you can get it for Jesus.
Somebody kill me. Kill me now.
No, me first.
Ay, ay, ay.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
isn't going to want to come back on our show now for weeks, Tom.
What, you ever had anybody a second time?
Our first or second episode with Julia Scotty? The radio show we were at, really nice people, but not so technically competent. The entire show went out. Great show. No sound.
Oh,
Yeah. We were doing it from a
He
radio.
was so sweet. Can you imagine?
we
sweet.
could only
She
be so
came
lucky
back.
on this show.
I can make it happen though. I'm technically adept enough to be technically inept.
Yeah,
We should do a whole show in mime.
and that would,
Tom,
but I think it's interesting that Tom doesn't like the governor, but Doug's a fan.
it's only because he's a governor of the state with how many millions of people, and he recognizes one citizen in the state who accomplished something. So
Are you a fan of his policies?
I'm not that familiar with New Jersey politics because I've been more concerned in following national politics. I know marijuana is legal. That's what I know.
Yes, marijuana. Well, New York, marijuana is legal. They don't arrest you for prostitution. You can pay your taxes whenever you want. It's like Charlie Sheen is running the fucking state.
That's funny.
Yeah, but you walk down 2nd Avenue, down around 10th Street, wearing a pink sequin pencil dress, the cops give you a hard time.
Dude,
They only
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Have you been into the city recently? Either one of you guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Not in the last year, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the
pretty
city.
often.
What are you doing in the city?
Seeing friends.
Oh, okay. No, I'm still, I mean, the city is active for doing shows and everything, and I've been doing shows for a while, between Manhattan and Brooklyn and everything. But the thing I've noticed about the city, I'm going to say the last 2.5 months or so, I think the audiences are getting younger, dumber, and the whole city smells like weed.
It's been like that down in Greenwich Village. It's been like that for years, but
I
don't know about the dumber. The younger, the younger certainly.
I do.
Well, the kids are growing up differently today. They don't have the maturity that we had to have when we were.
They also don't have the experience, Doug. I mean, they don't get references. They haven't done anything. They haven't been involved in relationships. They haven't held any real jobs. They haven't had any real authentic experiences. So I mean, what are you going to talk about?
So what do you talk about?
Well, last night, I had a couple sets, and I did 2 completely different sets. But the later one I did was in Greenwich Village, and let me tell you something. I've been performing in the Village for years, and I've never seen the Village like it is now. I mean, it's a Tuesday night, and everybody's out. I mean, it had middle of summer and weekend, where it was just insane. But all you smell is weed. It's all young people. The streets are crowded because you have like the outside dining stuff, like partway on the sidewalk. So people bump into each other. There are fist fights erupting. There was a fight last night. Okay, I mean it's nuts. There's cars whipping by, on McDougal Street, on West 3rd, on Carmine Street. So the audience is mostly young. I'm saying 26 and under. And then there was one table of people, I would say, our age. And so I looked at the crowd. I was like, I'm not going to talk about relationships. I'm not talking about getting older. I'm not talking about having kids. So I talked about the vaccine. I talked about traveling, and I want to bring it all into into them, and it turned out to go pretty good. It did some new jokes, and it was fine. But you got to kind of like you really got to filter it and water it down.
Yeah, I don't particularly like to play to millennials. The baby boomers, they're my demographic. Most of what I say doesn't translate well to their generation. They don't get the references, they don't get the puns, the play on words.
Everybody likes my comedy, from 2 months to 95 years old.
Okay, so that's a pretty good audience.
Well,
but I know what you're saying,
Tom. The percentage in that range is like maybe 2%,
Yeah. But no, I know what you're saying, because Saturday night I had headlined the show, and the show was mostly again, I would say 30 something and up, and it was very, very easy to do, but when you're working with this younger audiences, like you got to work,
Yeah.
and you got to make it like I talked about like Twitter, what that and social media is about, and watching television, because this is what like they kind of are about. This is what they kind of get.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing about performing in Manhattan is, at least it was like this before the pandemic, you get a lot of tourists, transients that don't have a good grasp of the language. So again, puns.
Well, it depends where you are. That would be more true, I think, in Midtown than it would be downtown.
You're right.
Yeah, I do, Tom. Again, I do. When audiences don't understand my language, I do great. That's my demographic. That's my demographic. People that don't understand me.
Yeah.
That's your best shot at getting a reaction. I told Doug before the show he should try and get hired by Cricket Comedy. He supplies his own crickets.
Now I can't use that line. They're going to say, "Oh, Tom said on your show, he said that line." Now, when I use that, they're not going to be impressed with my comedy, Tom.
Why? Like anybody's going to hear it on this show?
Really? We'll wind this down. People have tapped out like a long time ago. It's just all of us.
We're tapping out.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? If you're listening to us, what's wrong with you? Call in. The number is 555.
Hurry Hell 7.
We've done our time, guys. Almost. Have we?
Show like
we could kill. We should kill 6 minutes. Is what we should do, and be funny about it. And totally satisfy our audience. Can we do that?
Jeffrey, what's the show you did on Staten Island?
It was a show at a place called Bravo, and Rich Carucci he hosted, and I had let's see, do you know Stacy Kendro?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Stacy Kendro and Eric. Yeah. He was there that night, right? Stacy. And what's her name? Michelle Conrad came up and did a guest spot.
Michelle, I haven't seen her in ages.
Who's that?
Michelle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she well, what happened was I was on a show with her, and I thought she was funny. And I said, if you like, why don't you come by? I can get you a guest spot on the show. It's no big deal. I thought she was funny. I thought she'd do a good job, and she did. I like her humor. I think she's kind of like dark and like a little nasty. I like that. I think she's good.
Yeah, she's twisted just enough.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
Do you have favorite comedians?
My comedian taste changes. I remember when I first started, like my first mentor in comedy was Nate Bargatze, and like it's amazing to see what he's turned into. I'm still a big fan of his.
You get any good comedy tricks from him?
When I first started out, I felt I was too distracting. I felt I was constantly moving my hands, and I thought there was, what I was doing on stage physically was taking away what I was saying.
Interesting.
And I remember him saying, go to an open mic, don't just do material that you're comfortable with. Take the mic, put it in front of the stage, and put your hands in your pocket, and use your eyes, use your head. Make contact with the audience that way. And that was a really good
Do you
tip.
keep the mic in the stand now, or do you hold it?
I hold it. Once in a while, I'll keep the mic in the stand. I've also, I don't know if it was Dustin who told me, or Dustin was always telling me this. Dustin was the booker at Greenwich Comedy Club for years. He ran the Boston, and I remember him always saying, "Slow down, slow down." Slow down, smile, look like you haven't. That helped me out a lot too. And then hearing Louis saying, you can never go slow enough. I think those are things that kind of helped me out a lot. And then I think when you kind of a little bit, you sometimes kind of question why am I even doing this? I mean, I think the ultimate answer, you love doing it, is but why? And should I continue doing it? I remember talking to Nick DiPaolo about that. And I remember, DiPaolo, in typical DiPaolo fashion, goes, "Well, you got cancer? There's something wrong with you?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Then you keep doing it. You keep doing it." And, he was like, "It was right. As long as you're healthy, you keep doing it, and you never know." And I did a 6-minute spot, a TV spot on a basic cable show, and the biggest casting agent in the nation saw me, asked me to come, did it, got the part. Scorsese recommended me for that other movie. I just got cast in a Netflix pilot. Hopefully, that turns into something. But the thing is, if you don't go out and do, nothing's going to happen for you. And like DiPaolo said, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have cancer. You're not sick. So you go out and do it.
Right.
I always used to, I had a line, what was it? I don't do comedy for the money or the fame. I do it because I have obvious psychological problems.
So Jeffrey, what's your end game with the comedy? Are you satisfied with just being a stand-up comic?
Never satisfied.
You want your own
show,
a sitcom?
I've never been satisfied in anything I've ever done. Never. I've never only done one thing. I've always worked. I've always hustled. It was just the way I was brought up. And I was never given anything. I've earned anything I've ever bought, anything I've ever owned. It was through my work and my energy, my money. So when it comes to the end game of this is to keep filling dates on the calendar, to keep working. I'm not delusional. I know it's a young man's game, but there is there's no reason. Listen, I got called in to read a lot, at least before the pandemic, to read a lot for series on HBO. I've been in a bunch of different commercials, I mean, just to constantly keep working. And I do.
Right.
And, you never know when something is going to break. But listen, there are comics that you've never heard of who are making great money, who are working, able to provide for themselves, just filling dates on their calendar, So that's what it is for now. And then I keep adjusting the goal, when the Irishman came out and I had a couple of other things going on, I was getting booked in rooms that I didn't get booked in. I was getting moved up from being a feature to a headliner. And then the pandemic for me couldn't have come at a worse time. It just broke all that momentum. And now, now it kind of feels like, everyone's back at square one. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you're hearing seller comics, guys who are household names, saying, hey, but I'm not getting spots. I'm not getting enough spots. So I think we're all kind of in that boat. And it's kind of like a unique place that we're in right now.
Right.
But, I think just like in anything, there's going to be people who look at you, or you're going to look at people and say, oh man, I wish I was that. And then there's going to be people who look at you and go, I wish I was him. I think that that's true in just about any field, but particularly what we do.
Right. It's so hard not to compare yourself to other people. And, obviously we tend to compare ourselves to people that are a step or two above us rather than under us. But it's good to always be striving.
Just look down, make sure there's nobody under you right now. There. See, I made a person laugh. My life is complete.
That's all it took, Doug.
Yeah, I don't need a lot, Tom, to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. I mean, look what I'm doing now.
Now, I've been working on trying to get a couple of venues in Jersey for like a once a month comedy night. And,
that's smart.
I've gotten good response from the owners of these restaurants, but I can't get them to like take the leap and actually do it now. But I got 2 of them right near my house too. It would be ideal.
Listen, don't oversell. You're giving them an opportunity to make more money. So you're giving them something of value. And if you sell too much, they're going to think, why is he selling so hard?
But
giving them an opportunity.
I mean, think about it. If all you needed was say 25 couples to have a decent show, right?
Yeah.
It's not a big commitment out of the place, it should be kind of a fairly easy sell, I would imagine, right? The place that would have to have something vested in it, just like yourself, and it's not costing them anything out of pocket,
Exactly.
especially if you did something where you keep the door, they keep the bar. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. And that really shouldn't be too hard to sell.
Well,
if you can get an audience.
Don't have a liquor license, so they'd have to make it on the food.
All right, so you do it but you don't have to be a 2-drink minimum. You could do a 2-item minimum. It could be an appetizer and a drink.
And
no one's going to a show for an hour and a half and just sitting there. People are going to go. And they're gonna eat. I do a bunch of those, like these dinner shows. That's what I basically did all last week with these dinner shows, and it's amazing, how much money these places make. They're more than willing to take care of you.
Yep.
And Tom, if they don't have a liquor license, I'm pretty sure you could probably hide a barrel under your shirt.
There's no room under my shirt.
So I don't know if that's a complimentary enough place to end the show, guys. But we're the only ones listening.
That's right.
Recording. We don't know.
Now, if there is anybody out there listening, I know somebody who can get these shows done and done well. That's Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. So if you want to get a show together, a showcase for your restaurant, email Jack at jirwinproductions.com. I'm Tom Angeli. This is Doug Max, our special guest tonight, Jeffrey Paul. On behalf of Funny Talk with Mangeli and Max, see you next time. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Bye, guys.
Thank you,
for
Jeffrey.
having
Good
me.
talking with you.
Appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Take care.